So, today I got to sit down with Chig Martin, who is a Democratic candidate running for governor in Alabama, and voting will commence in May of 2026. I got to ask him many questions about Alabama, the policies he intends to enact were he be elected, and I hope you guys enjoy this watch. Oh, hey
So I
there,
don't.
Mr. Martin.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, sir?
Oh, good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
The only reason you can't see my camera is just so yours could be bigger. Just wanted to
Okay.
point that out. I appreciate your time, though. I'm honored to have you here.
Thank you so much. Me too. I appreciate you having me, and it's my honor as well. Thank you.
So I'm excited to ask you some questions here. First, I just have some generalized ones, but before I even get into that, if you don't mind, for people who may not know you, just go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit of general information about you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Chig Martin. I'm from the Wiregrass region of Alabama, which is southeastern Alabama. I'm down not too far off the Florida line in a town called Enterprise, Alabama, the Boll Weevil city. And we have a Boll Weevil monument, a statue of a bug right there in the middle of the city. I was born and raised there. I had two great parents that were working class people. And my mom had cut hair and had a beauty shop in one end of our house for 22 years. My dad was aircraft mechanic and started a small mobile home park. And I went to Enterprise High School and was real fortunate to get a full football scholarship that paid for everything: room, board, tuition, food, and graduated from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. And I always tell people, when I say I started at the bottom, I really did. I started my career out selling Electrolux vacuum cleaners door to door, which it stunk. But that's how I got started in life and kind of worked my way through life. And started a small business 23 years ago called Thunder Industrial, and we do business in around 40 states in the country. We service the maintenance and safety needs of people that do work on military aircraft. And I was able to start the first hemp and CBD store in the state of Alabama, honeysuckle hemp out of Dothan. So I like to consider myself an innovative and practical businessman.
Well, yeah, it sounds like you have your hand in a lot of honeypots when it comes to business, which is nice
Yeah,
to
yeah,
hear.
I enjoy it. Hey, I just like running for office. I enjoy people. That's why I've always been able to do well in business because I mean, I was a lead singer of a band that traveled throughout the country for 7 years, and I tell people that because my whole life has revolved around interacting with people. That's one of my biggest enjoyments in life, and I think my business background and the fact that I enjoy things like we're doing here and working with our citizens could be a good combination for the state.
Well, yeah, and I have a lot of respect for that myself because actually I'm a door-to-door salesman right now for my main job. So, and I do
Mm-hmm.
this on the side. I make other YouTube videos, do a lot of things. So I really like people that like people. You know what I mean? Because I'm the same
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
Love that energy. So,
yeah.
kind of to add on top of that, because I feel like you're a really good person to ask this. If you could give one piece of advice to anybody watching this, especially younger people, what would you say to them?
Well, I will say this. I think young people have come into a age of technology that if they're not careful, they can be inundated with a telephone screen in front of. And listen, I'm all for these things, but I'm just saying in moderation. I think young people have got to make sure that they keep their real life to life in person skills in check because that's really what's going to get you through life. I think um, communication between people is very important, and it's kind of getting left behind. It's just like this. I was telling somebody the other day when I was growing up. There was always a gathering place on Friday night because that's the way you had to see people. You could now you can you know what I'm saying? You can text or be on social media, and some of the good old fashioned things of life are getting left behind. So I just think people have to make sure that they keep that human to human contact keep it going and be sharp at that, because that's what will excel you through life. And I will say this, the one thing I tell my 31-year-old daughter is and I preach this to her, the important thing in life to me is, whether it's business or personal, is to always just be straightforward with people, when it comes to problems, or whatever it may be in life, but always be respectful. Respectful and straightforward takes you a long way.
I completely agree with that. I think honesty is one of the things that if you show somebody you can tell the truth and look them in the eye immediately, that shows a lot about your character. And I do agree, a lot of people my age, because I just turned 21, so I grew up in an age where a lot of people are really focused on social media and have lost a lot of the in-person skills. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree with that. I think that's a great piece of advice for people to listen to.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, and you know, I think no matter which way technology goes or whatever, just general respect is always going to be a key factor in making it in this world. And one of the things I do in this campaign is, I don't dance and dodge questions. I always answer them openly and honestly, but the key word is also respectfully. And if you can do those things, people, you just like you and I, we probably aren't going to agree on every subject, but if we have respectful dialogue, we can work together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we can try to meet in the middle and make things work. And that's kind of what I'm all about.
Well, yeah, I've seen one of the big things about your campaign is unity, which I have a question about that later on. But I do love
Okay.
that because I feel like we're very separated, especially politically, socially in Alabama and just in the world in general. So unity is definitely something we need to focus on and try to get back
Yeah,
to for sure. Uh,
absolutely. I totally agree with you.
So, kind of going off that, as someone who grew up in Alabama and has kind of stayed around here your whole life, would you say the state has changed for the better or for the worse since you were young, and especially regarding your hometown of Enterprise?
I think the state has kind of went on a steady decline the later part of my life. You know, and part of that is there's so much showmanship in the political world right now. I mean, you don't hear a lot of things where our like our senators and our representatives. I mean, we're making bills to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, we're doing things like that. Like, listen, we need to be making bills to change the quality of our citizens' lives, and that's kind of where I am. Yeah, and it's just, we've just got political theater, and I don't know how to do that, to be honest with you. I'm not capable of it, but that should tell you that I'm like you, a real businessman, because in the real business world, you know you have to work with people, period. I mean, just like you in your job, you have to work with people to make those sales. And yeah, and then when it comes to Enterprise, to be quite honest with you, is a beautiful community. We've got a great mayor in Enterprise. We've got a beautiful downtown. We've got pretty good industry in the area because we sit next door to Fort Rucker, Alabama, the largest helicopter training base for the Army. And so there's a lot of people don't do this now, but military bases, the 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 jobs and maintenance on the bases aren't done by soldiers. They're done by contracted employees. And those are good paying jobs. Like, we have one contractor at Fort Rucker that employs about 4,500 people. And the average wage is about $30 to $35 an hour.
Yeah, that's
Average wage.
awesome, especially with our current
Yeah.
job market, which I got some things to
Yeah.
say about that too. But
Mm-hmm.
so, what type of pressure, if any, does running for governor add to your life, or would you say since you've been in business, it's kind of a similar ball game? You have to carry yourself a similar way.
To be quite honest with you, the thing that I mean, unfortunately, I've gotten used to it, but the thing that disappoints me the most is how cruel and mean people can be in this day and age. I mean, if you sometimes I see comments and things, and I mean, he's a clown, he's this, he's that. Well, at the end of the day, I'm a small businessman and a father here in the state of Alabama, and it's just a shame that our society has gotten to a point that we act like that. And I can just tell you this: one of the things I can promise you is I'm going to lead by example from the governor's office if I were fortunate enough to get elected, and I'm going to try to do my best to be a leader and be humble and be kind to people, and hopefully set the stage for our state to be better in that category.
Well, and so would you say that running Democrat in a historically red state makes it harder for you, or is that something that you don't really see?
Well, here's the thing. I was an independent, and then changed to Democrat. But here and see, there lays the problem. I mean, it's pretty bad that an independent person in the state of Alabama doesn't have a home on the ticket for citizens. You yeah, you get forced as an independent. You get forced. That's to pick a party. Well, you got one party, the Republican Party, that their candidates are all picked out, money's all behind. So why do you want to step in right there? Because you know what's going to happen right there. They're going to go with one person, and they're going to do everything it takes to get them through. And from the Democratic Party, if you can position yourself right, and I don't toe any political party lines. One thing about me, you'll never hear me degrading politicians or elected officials. And one reason I don't do that because I'm a practical businessman and know if I'm elected one day, my main goal is to get things done for our citizens in our state. And if you've burned every bridge before you ever get there, you're not going to get anything done.
Yeah, and that's
So,
a great philosophy to have because I think a lot of people focus way too much on the party label versus what somebody's actually saying. And, that's why I personally identify as independent. I don't personally vote every time for Democrat, Republican. I just choose whatever candidate I feel is going to fit the position best. And,
yeah.
I do wish that independent had a more stake in the ballot, and maybe we'll see a shift towards that in certain states in the future. But I guess we'll just have to wait and find out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I totally agree, man. But so that, yeah, really, you could put any party by my name, and I'm still going to be the same person at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And with the same ideas, that's just a label, and I'm not really one that likes to be labeled.
Fair enough. I completely understand that. I
Yeah.
wear many hats myself, so I can
Yeah.
relate to that. But so, since you ran for office before, what's one major thing that your previous campaign taught you, maybe something that you've used to your advantage this time around?
Well, I was on an island by myself the first time, trying to do everything, scheduling, trying to do donations, getting out driving back and forth across the state. And so this go around, I've had some people join in and help me and have I have a campaign manager, at Laurie, which I think you guys have talked to or dealt with. And, people like her working 40 hours a week, free of charge, paying their own way to events, paying their own expenses to stay in towns, and that's what our campaign is built up out of, is people like that. Through her and her husband are farmers up in Tuscaloosa County, salt of the earth people, and She works her regular job, works for this campaign, and I have several others across the state that volunteer for the campaign and come out to events and things like that. So just having a team has been a great help. And they, we don't, we're battling millions with thousands. in this campaign. So yeah, we have to work smartly. And to be quite honest with you, I tell people, I think if you were to look at this campaign as just with an open mind, you'd say the Chad Chig Martin campaign has done amazing things to be the least funded campaign in the state among top contenders. And I hope people will respect what we've done.
Well, I've had people before I even knew who you were tell me I needed to interview you when I've asked people, who should I interview? What should I look into? And that really speaks a lot because normally people tell me to stay away from political topics, but I've been asked to interview you multiple times, and I believe it's because of the energy that you put off. And I believe that, obviously I'm a journalist, so I like to be unbiased. But I
Yeah.
normally read energies, and I would definitely say I don't feel like I'm talking to a politician during this interview, which is not something I can say for other people I've interacted with in the past. So I do appreciate the personability, and I hope that this video does reach people and hopefully let them see you in a different light, or maybe if they didn't even know you were running to begin with. That's
Yeah.
what we're all about over here.
Well, I sure appreciate it too. And in these uh, interviews like this, we've tried to do as many as we can for the last 6 months because I truly believe that things like your podcast here can be the difference on May 19th. So what you're doing is important work in helping us, and we appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Your team was definitely very receptive. I got a quick responses back when I was emailing back and forth with them, and they were very engaging with me. And I'm glad we were able to set this up. So, the whole campaign team, have to give a shout out to them,
Thank you so
Laurie and
much.
everybody
They'll be
else.
they'll be watching.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah, they're
so
going to be watching. Yeah, they'll all watch. So.
another interesting thing about you that is kind of unique, I found that you dabbled into country music back in
Yeah.
2016. So how did that come about? Do you ever plan to release any more music, or was that kind of a one-off thing?
Oh gosh, I've got so many bands that are telling me, man, when this is over, we're going to put an all-star band together for you, and you can now you've been all over the state and all these towns. So you never know. If I don't win, maybe I go back into music. And I'll tell you this, I'm really I'm not that talented of a musician, but I really connect well with crowds and you know, part of good entertaining is people like to hear good life stories. You know what I mean? And you know, that's one thing I've got a lot of. And so I always you get a little bit more than just music when you come to one of my shows. You get some good fun times and good jokes and good stories and so yeah, but I enjoy it. I hope I've probably written about I'd say in the neighborhood of 40 or 50 songs. So I've definitely got some songs that I could get out there and play. So
Do you still do show, or when's the last time you did a show somewhere?
well, this is what's funny is I get called to the stage a lot. I was up in Leeds, Alabama the other night, and we were at a place we had an event there called Rails and L's, and they had a band come in and play at the event, and they had it set up, and they called me up there, and so I did a couple of songs, and the crowd loved it. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. And then I probably get called up on the stage once or twice a month when I'm at places, especially when if it's some other musicians that know me or have played with me before or something like that. But yeah, I love music, man. Love it.
Heck yeah, I love to hear that, man. I love music myself. It's one of my loves
Yeah,
in life, so gotta
yeah,
love to
me
see.
too.
Hey, and maybe if you get to be governor, you can go to the state capitol and play a song, and hey, attract
Yeah,
everybody around. Hey, spread the good
yeah,
vibes.
yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah. Listen, I would. A matter of fact, I've already made the promise to some. If I have if I get lucky enough to be elected, um, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but I told the state we're not having a fancy inauguration parade. We're going to have the largest street taco party ever. around the Capitol there in Montgomery. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to let local Alabama bands play all day long, all get 2 or 3 songs each and get a chance to play at a governor's inauguration, all by local bands from all over the state. So,
Hey, well, if you get elected, I'll definitely get back in contact with your team. I'll try to come out there and document that too. Sounds like a fun
yeah,
time.
yeah. So, yeah, that's yeah. We're good. We're unorthodox on everything pretty much. So,
Well, that's actually a perfect segue to speaking of unorthodox. One of the big things that I saw from your campaign I found very interesting is you're pro cannabis. Now,
yeah.
I haven't researched it too much because I wanted to hear it from you. So I'm not sure how far into the pro cannabis side you are as far as if you're just seeking for hemp products to be brought back to Alabama or if you think we should have dispensaries in Alabama. Where do you kind of fall on that subject?
Well, first of all, I'm for all natural medicine and medicinal herbs being legal here in Alabama. I believe that if you can, dig a hole in your yard, plant a seed, cover it up, and water it, and it grows, that God intended it to be there for you. And so, what I want to do here in the state of Alabama is, like I said, I really proud myself on being a innovative business leader. And what I want to do here in the state is I want to embrace our farming culture, and I want to let our farmers have an opportunity to be global leaders in natural medicine and herb farming here in the state of Alabama. And and also I want to use our agricultural schools to be leaders in the teaching systems of natural medicine. Basically, we would train the doctors and the PhDs on natural medicine and medicinal herbs and right here in Alabama. And I would like for it to be legal in the state of Alabama and taxed at just a regular rate, just like if you were buying a pack of gum or a loaf of bread. And I want the money from this particular part of the plan to go to infrastructure, roads and bridges, and improvements across the state here in Alabama.
Well, I've always thought that it would do that, like really boost our economy because if you look at states
Yeah.
that have went pro, a lot of them are seeing a lot less drunk driving incidents. They're seeing a big rise in economic standings, people getting jobs at the dispensaries, and obviously farmers being able to
Yeah.
grow as much hemp as they want to and sell it to these companies. So I personally think cannabis being legal in Alabama would be a net positive. I mean,
Yeah.
I do see where the hangups are for some people, but I really don't understand why it's been so hard for us to get any inch forward because we had the 2018 Farm Bill and then it seems like they're trying to pull all of that back now and make it harder and harder and harder for us to get it legal. So with that being said, how long do you think it would take to make it legal in Alabama were you to be elected?
Well, here's the thing. What people don't understand, if a person like me was elected here in the state of Alabama, you're going to see a huge shift in the political world in our legislative branch because I'm unlike those guys that hold those offices. Most of those people are entitled type people that covet their positions, and they're gonna change with the flow because they don't want to lose that power. And if they see the citizens elect a guy like me, it's going to change the mindset of the legislative process in Alabama. And they're going to say, okay, the state's just spoken, and they've elected a governor that is pro natural medicine and they're going to have to get to busy or they're going to get put out of office here in Alabama. So and they're going to have to get legislation to get this either out for the people to vote on natural medicine in Alabama or a bill to just basically decriminalize, make it legal, whatever you want to call it.
Well, see, that's very fair. I believe that I'm not super versed in it. I don't know the whole process on getting things like that passed, but I do believe if we had somebody in the front lines fighting for it, it would definitely move the needle forward in a positive manner. So I'm hoping to see that happen, and I guess we'll just have to see if it does. Which
Yeah.
many people believe that I've talked to, that those on the right, including our current governor, Miss Kay Ivey, are so against hemp slash cannabis in order to keep jails full and push alcohol sales. What's your take on why cannabis has been so demonized in Alabama? What do you think the real
Well,
reason is?
it's not any real secret. Most people just don't know, but it's the alcohol and the tobacco industry gave out last year alone in over $850 million in lobbying money to United States senators, representatives, state representatives, because there's been a decline in alcohol sales because of it. There's been a decline in and that's pharmaceutical companies as well is what I meant to say. And there's been a decline in pharmaceutical medicines, all because the natural product works, and they don't like that, and then they're paying people and getting lawmakers to change laws to keep their products profitable.
Well, that's my take on it too. Believe the tobacco and alcohol industries are definitely trying to push cannabis to the back. It seems like they're kind of mad that their market share is getting diluted by cannabis. So it seems to be kind of a war between big pharma, alcohol, and the cannabis industry, especially with products like THCA, because the government, even in California, is not making any money off that. So now they're wanting
Yeah.
to shift the laws even in those states that are already legal. So it's just a
Yeah.
forever battle with the
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah.
If so, this is probably the funniest question I have for you the whole time. Question leaving this one
Okay.
in here. But when I asked my Snapchat for questions they would want to ask you, one replied, "Will he help me beat my possession charges?" What is your response to that?
Yeah, one of the things I don't do is I'm very, very strict about not even making false promises, because I don't I mean, I'm not an elected official at this point, and I don't want to say I can help people in that range, because I don't even know if it's within the governor's power, first and foremost. But I can tell you this: if just the way I personally feel, if I had any I believe that if somebody is their life is being affected because of a simple possession of marijuana charge, and that charge only, yeah, I would have no problem wiping those charges away. Honestly, it's not like but there could not be other charges with it. Just the simple possession charge.
Well, yes,
Yeah, I don't.
I believe that this guy was just asking about like he probably either got caught with a couple grams or maybe a cartridge or something like that. Because the way our laws are right now, if you get caught with a even hemp derived cartridge, then it can be up to a felony, which is
Yeah,
to me kind of ludicrous considering that's the same level as drugs such as heroin and just things that are way out of the range. So hopefully
yeah,
we'll see a shift in that, because just whew, ridiculous. Let's see.
yeah.
Now I have a couple questions just advanced about Alabama specifically. What are your thoughts on the death penalty in Alabama for people such as pedophiles and human traffickers, things of that such?
Yeah, when it comes to things like that, you really don't have any choice as a citizen but to trust our judicial process and a body of jurors. And so, whatever decisions are made in the courtroom, if they decide that somebody deserves the death penalty, that's just what it is. I mean, unfortunately, there are some awful people in this world, and things like that happen. So, and I will tell you this: there's some arguments. Like some people will say they're 100% pro-life, and then they'll be asked, "Well, are you for the death penalty?" Yes. Well, some people say, well, you're not completely pro-life if you're choosing death. And so it's a very complicated subject. And then there's a few subjects out there that there's really like not the perfect yes or no answer for, because they're just complicated. And that's one of them. I mean, but I respect jury's decisions, and and when there's a jury decision, people have the chance to appeal and do things like that if they think there was a problem. So we have to have faith in something. So that's you know.
I mean, that's a good answer, honestly. I completely understand that take. I agree with you. I don't think there's really a good answer for that question. It's really
Yeah,
just where you fall on it. But
yeah.
so kind of moving on from that, aside from cannabis related issues, what are some policies you'd like to see implemented were you to be elected?
Well, it's going to start with strong economic development. We're the sixth ranked state in poverty in America. And, I want to have a good industry recruiting team, and I want to work as governor hand in hand with that team, recruiting top earning jobs here to the state with benefits, both healthcare and retirement. And we've got to target certain type of employment for what that particular county's strengths are, whether it be, aerospace or, high tech manufacturing, medical, whatever it may be. And so it starts there for the sixth ranked state in poverty. I want to have the Alabama Job Corps system trade program because I think the future is in skilled trades because AI is completely eliminating IT and software developers and things like that. And I think this is going to become a land again of skilled trade workers.
So, as a businessman, do you have any plans you would like to implement to increase the job market, the amount of jobs, and quality of jobs in Alabama?
Yeah, and it starts with that industry recruitment team and the governor. See, here's the difference. We've had a governor that'll be for about 11 years that really hasn't done anything for economic development in Alabama. And if I were elected, you're going to go from that to a governor that's not only has this industry recruiting team, but who will we be working hand in hand, reaching out from Montgomery all over the world to potential employers from the governor's seat, actually doing what you do with your job, almost door to door, but calling out around the world and recruiting certain types of jobs right here to Alabama that are high paying jobs. We want to build in, like, if it's in the Mobile area, we want to have things involve the shipbuilding industry, aerospace, medical. If it gets around Huntsville, Alabama, it's going to be defense military sciences, missiles. It's going to be federal contractors that we have. We've just put 5,000 FBI there. We're building a Navy operations center there, and all kind of spin-off jobs would need to be recruited for that area. So you have to understand the state. We're gonna invest in the Black Belt region of Alabama and our poorest counties, and create roads and bridges and infrastructure and technology parks, and stop talking about this area being so poor and help build this up and help get these people some jobs to that area. And so, and our trade schools will work hand in hand with this recruitment of industry. If we're going to recruit certain types of industries in the Mobile area or our Tuscaloosa area, we want to have trade schools in that area that teach those trades. So as these people retire from these companies, there's always people ready to come in and fill their shoes and trained and licensed.
Well, I love to hear that. Sounds like a solid plan to me. Hopefully, you get to implement it because I'd love to see the job market get stimulated. It's one of the biggest issues in Alabama, I feel, is our lack of jobs, aside from big cities like Huntsville. But I feel like a lot of these smaller towns could have a lot more industry coming in were the right steps to be taken. Which, kind of on that topic, I personally feel things such as the lottery, which have been prohibited in Alabama for a long time, could stimulate our economy. Where do you stand on that topic?
Yeah, I'm 100% for the lottery here in Alabama. I mean, we're building schools in Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, while ours are have asbestos hanging from the ceilings and dilapidating and old technology. teachers with low pay grades. I want to make a few investments in Alabama, and one of the things I want to do is I want to bring in some of the top educational program managers in the country from some of the highest scoring test states in the country to Alabama, and we just have to admit the programs here in the state. And so, I want to bring in the experts and help us lay the foundation or the core to build upon to bring and to improve education for once in the state of Alabama.
And that would be awesome because we are ranked pretty low. I believe we're 46.
46.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So I've seen that unity means a lot to you. What does unity in Alabama truly mean given how politically divided we are?
Well, the first thing people in Alabama and around the country have to do is they have to realize that this this game of Americans pretty much disliking each other is just horrible. It's horrible for our country. It's horrible for our states. Our country, it's almost like the enemy has won within the boundaries of our country because we have our own people pitted against each other in hate. And that's why we're having so many problems. That's why we can't get anything done in the Senate or the representatives of this country. And I think if somebody will come in, hopefully like me, and just change the tone of that, and you're going to see. It starts from the top, leadership. It's just like one of the things I've promised when if I'm fortunate enough to get elected, the cabinet that you'll see in the picture behind me will be one of the most diverse cabinets you've ever seen behind a governor in the state of Alabama history. It's not going to be made up of rich millionaires' grandsons that need a job, or very affluential people and things like that. It's going to be people that might be a dental hygienist or someone that's a manager of a Lowe's. It's going to have to be people that can relate to our citizens, and that's the kind of leadership you're going to see out of us. It's just real world, real school leadership.
So you're essentially seeking to take away the disconnect between politicians and everyday people.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just hurting our country so bad with our country being at war with each other.
So, as kind of a follow up to that, how would you navigate working with a likely majority Republican legislator to get things going if you were to be elected?
Well, it's just like this. I mean, I've been running businesses. I've been a businessman for 35 years in this state, and it's the same philosophy. If you treat somebody honestly, you treat them with respect, and you stand behind your word, um, people will gravitate to you and work with you. And like I said, the fact I just don't toe political party lines, so I don't say things that really are going to make either side say I don't like that guy. That's just not the way I operate. I'm just I just try to put good common sense core values out for the people, innovative ideas. And if they like it, they like it, and if they don't, they don't. But they won't ever dislike me because of you know towing political party lines.
Well, it's telling me we have less than a minute left on this Zoom call,
Okay.
so I guess we're going to have to wrap it up. But I really appreciate your time, Mr. Martin. I wish you great
Thank
luck
you.
in your campaign. God bless everybody on your team. I hope you guys continue to do great work. And
Thank you so much.
yes, sir. Good luck come
Hey,
May.
where are you located?
Oh, I'm 15 minutes outside of Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, well, good, man. Make sure when we're up there again that we're going to be up in that area. Maybe you can come out and say hello.
Oh, yes, sir. I definitely will. I definitely will. Thank you
Okay.
very much for your time.
Thank you so much, man. And thank you for sharing this with all of your people across the state.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You have a
I
great day.
appreciate it. Y'all take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, make sure to subscribe, drop a like, and come back next week for whatever we're getting into. Make sure to go out to the polls in May and vote for whoever you choose to for governor. And thank you to the Chig Martin team and him for sitting down with me and giving me his time. It was a great pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.